this long. How does it mate when you get, how? Do you ever think about how do porcupines mate? When they're all full of defense? Have you met people that are porcupines? Have you met people that are turtles? You come near them, they get in their shell. They have a very hard shell. Do you know why the turtle's shell is hard? Because inside, he's soft. Do you know why a porcupine has quills? Because he doesn't want you to come near them. Have you ever tried to get into a relationship, to get to know someone a little bit better, and they kind of push you away? You ever been in a relationship, the closer you get, the more they closed up? And so when the porcupines mate, they actually lose their quills during mating time. Did you get when you watch Discovery Channel? Because when you mate, when animals mate, they have to expose their tender, defenseless side. And when you have a covenant with a friend, with a person, with a boss, with your spouse, what happens is you've got to let your armor down. The closer you get to each other, that's what people are afraid to get close, is you become vulnerable. In other words, you can now be hurt. What not great armor? Okay? Jonathan said, look, here's my robe. It's my identity. I'm not a prince. When you and I talk, you don't have to call me your majesty. Okay? When you and I talk, let's just talk as real people. That's what, as much as possible, I'm not comfortable with titles. You know, people say, Pastor, can you just drop that? I'm okay, call me Joe. Pastor, you'll get offended if you just call me Joe. So I don't want you to relate to a position. I want you to relate to a person. Amen? And so, as he gave his robe, and then he gave his armor, the symbol of the armor is, I am now defenseless. You can hurt me now. And that's the essence of a relationship. Number 3, it went on to say, and he also gave up his sword. Man, that's a dangerous thing to do. When I don't have armor and you have my sword, that means to say, you can now hurt me. In every relationship, you risk hurt. And some of you have been hurt. You gave your heart, and he dropped it. And so what do you do when you've got a broken heart? You put armor around it the next time around. Pairing-iring ka, distansya kamay. I'm not going to give everything to you because I got hurt before. He gave the sword. In other words, look, David, I'm not defending myself. I'm not positioning myself. I'm not saying, keep quiet, I'm the son of the king. I'm not trying to defend myself in any way. And I'm giving you the ability to hurt me with the sword. Hello? The closer you work together in an office, you actually take your robe off. The first time you meet each other, head to foot, man, diba? Do you ever head to foot? Head to feet people? Do you ever heads to feet people? You ever look at somebody, pag ilan-ilan pa lang ninyo, of course you don't really go. You don't. You just talking, wait, ang akong musulti, ang nindot ko sa nina, ang halong cellphone. You kind of shelf people, right? Hello? You kind of have a measuring stick. Okay, medyo taas-taas ni siya that. So, because you're higher than me, I position myself lower, ma'am, right? Isn't that true? But then if you see them lower than you, in other words, if you're not careful, you'll be measuring people and treating them accordingly. But the problem with the measuring of people is the stick that you use to measure them with, you must also measure yourself. And it's a shelf that you put people on and you think, taas siya, where are you? If you're on the same shelf, uy, kasi nabot na. If you're below that shelf, then you feel a little bit maikog. If you're above it, then you feel you're in charge. That's why when you look at a security guard, for example, you think he's below yourself, your shelf. So when he's a bit arrogant to you, you actually say, "What kailan kinsa?" In other words, wasa ka kailan kinsa ka? And so we treat people this way, but David and Jonathan, when Jonathan said, I'm taking off my robe, I'm taking off my armor, and here's a sword, you can now hurt me. Do you know what? When you get married, there is no more armor. You're exposed. Kaya lang, exchanging sword na. So now, a lot of marriages are actually about, I can hurt you, and you can hurt me. If you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you more. And I've counseled too many people. They just love hurting each other, because if they don't hurt the other person more, they will also get hurt. That's not marriage covenant. That's sword fighting. Okay? In a relationship, in an office, you get to know each other sooner or later. The clothes don't matter. Initially, abinako, taas-taas siya. You are disrobed of your position. You get to know who each other really is. And then you let go of the armor. Now you know how you can make this person look bad before somebody else. Now you've got the ability to hurt a person. Isn't that true? Come on, you with me? We're going to go a little bit further. Number 4, he took off he gave his bow. Now, the bow is not a ribbon on his hair. No, it's not about the bow. It's a bow and arrow. And we told you this the other time, that the bow is a weapon, a long-distance weapon, wherein you can hurt somebody and they don't know it was you. Wherein the sword, when you hurt somebody with the sword, you know who hit you, right? You know siya man go. But when it's an arrow, bow and arrow, you're just walking through your office. By the time you turn around, lihapak naman. So it's a treacherous weapon, because you can hit from long distance. Do you know Christians are really good archers? Do you know the more familiar you get, you don't want to use your sword anymore because it's too confrontational? And so the treacherous way to hurt one another, even in a relationship, is by using an arrow, because you can hide, shoot the person, and hide again. And they can die not knowing who hurt them. And a lot of husbands I know have cheated on their wives, and they've been using arrows. And a lot of wives are also doing the same thing these days. Relationships don't know the quality of covenant anymore. They only know contract. And so as we come to this point, it says there that he gave his, come on, talk to me. What did he give? He gave his robe, which was his title, position. He gave his armor, which was his defense. And then he gave his, which is his offense in public. And then he gave his bow. Come on, the bow and arrow, which was his ability to hurt somebody without knowing who hurt them. Excuse me, how many of you have been hurt by the sword? And how many of you have been hurt by a bow and arrow? Where you didn't know, I did not expect that would come from you. I never knew you were capable of doing that. And in any human relationships, when these aren't surrendered, you can't have covenant. Even in an office like this, you get to know each other, you get to know titles don't matter. Bisag ikaw ang executive ikaw in charge, you're just a person. And you get to know each other all the more. And then you get to know this person is defenseless in this area. You also get to know how to hurt each other. You also get to know how to hurt them without letting them know you hurt them. You be really nice to them, but at the same time you're gossiping in the background and saying bad things and setting someone up. Have you ever been set up? Excuse me, I'm asking you a question. I have been set up. Have you? Have you ever been stabbed? I have. Have you? Have you ever been arrowed? And you didn't even know till this day who did it to you? Yeah. Hello? Have you ever been attacked and you had no defense? And so as we went on with this, the last part went on to say, and gave him his belt. So what's the big deal with the belt? The belt